All right.
Once I listened to the new album, an album I think is waiting the metal scene after the reunion, and I have to say I think it's an amazing album. I have to say,
Thank you.
with all the elements we can expect, and with experienced members and the sound of 2021. Which are your feelings with the album, the reunion, all that are happening as a member who are there since the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, it feels so great. I mean, it was like when we started off talking about it, it was years ago, you just don't do it within a day, calling people up saying, hey, you want to rehearse tomorrow? We got to do this reunion. No, it needs to be prepared. There was scars, there was bad words in the past, there was like some situations, and all this needed to be cleared out before we started talking to each other, before we even started talking about music. And after those years, we all did it, and situations went cool, and we were talking about it in a good way, and really, it really needed some preparation. But in the end of the day, we ended up in the rehearsal room. And that was a great day because they decided to share the vocals and all that, and we had Kai there bringing his ideas in. We had to squeeze in one more guitar and also into the old arrangements. There was a lot of work, but it's all worth it, and I felt really, really good uh, after we rehearsed a couple of weeks. uh, Listening back to it, it felt just very good. It's amazing how that works.
Hmm.
With a lot with two more people coming in, of course, the arrangement will be very, very different. But you got to be open to everything, and suddenly it's working.
Hmm. And talking about this new album, and obviously talking with you, I think we have to talk about the bass sound, because today, in my opinion, in the metal records, this is an instrument that it's underrated, completely underrated, and in this album is very present, and it's not usual, as I'm saying. I suppose you are very happy with this sound, and it's an stamp that have Halloween during all the years. This bass sound.
Yeah, it's just like we always looking for some extra touch, for some extra little bit that you can add to the music. With a bass, I go crazy from time to time. You got to take care that you don't go crazy when just like the vocal line is going crazy. You got to watch it a little bit here and there. But if there's any space for like adding a cool idea. We like that playing around, fooling around with ideas, and give it all something different, giving it a different approach from what's normal. That's what we really, really do like, and that was always the concept of Halloween, just to be heard, just to be make it a little more interesting, you know
Hmm.
than being normal. And I think it's fun. When Viking writes a song, I exactly know what he wants to have, because he wants that little extra bit, and not only from the bass guitar, also from the guitars, from the drums, and from the vocals. We are always searching for that extra tip, little bit.
Hmm. Okay, I understand. We can talk a little bit later about the new album, but people can read and listen lots of interviews these days with band members and reviews about the new album, and obviously it's something to talk about. But I would like to make it a little bit different. As a member who live every second of the band, for example, in the very beginning, previous to Halloween, if we talk about Second Hell and first times in Halloween, do you have discussion about the musical style? Because in that times, music scene was very melodic, or in the other side, thrash metal.
Well, we never had a discussion about the style. We just went in the very, very beginning when we didn't have a record contract. I just went to the rehearsal room the very, very first day, and I was amazed about the guitar players and the singing and the music in general, how great they sounded, and I was just like lucky to be a part of it. And there was no discussion about it. They just went on, and it sounded well, and we just carried on with what we were doing. And then, Mikey came in the band later on, and he had such some crazy ideas to get over the top with being away from just like normal hard rock or something, because everybody was doing this, and he came up with that unique, crazy ideas for like Urns of Life and all what you can hear on the very first records that made Helloween's music stick out. And then Kai Hansen came up with even more crazy ideas. They were throwing ideas at each other. It's crazy, and I liked it a lot. And all that was making the Helloween sound very very different from what was there at that time. And I still think it's still some of the secrets of the success from Halloween. Always trying to do something different, trying it our own way. You of course you have your influences from other bands, but not trying to copy. Just think about how can you do things different. How can you do things more the Halloween way.
Hmm. Uh, and in the Walls of Jericho era, are you agree with the possibility that Ralf Scheepers joined the band in that times? Because recently I read an interview that and Kai explained that is something that you were thinking in that times.
We had a rough idea, but then we found Michael.
Yeah.
And then we heard Michael's voice thinking, all right, let's try this. He's new, he's young, he's never been heard before, he's on non-album, and so we wanted something fresh. And that was the right choice. Ralph is a great singer, and we still know him. We're still friends together, friendly together, all cool. But we wanted Michael.
I say because I imagine something like different members talking about it. I like this guy, the voice of this guy, because I don't know. I think could be
Yeah, it's
better.
it's very it's very cool. Yeah, I like it.
And the other one thinks in different way. And then this could be, uh, I don't know if the correct word is a discussion, but
It was in discussion from the very before we knew Michael. But then we thought as I told you, we thought of something fresh and doing something very new, and that was for the keepers.
mhm. The more and we all know what happens with the keeper, your explosion. The more difficult times of the band, maybe it was the lineup changes, like with Michael or Kai, for example.
Yeah. Well, it's being in a band. It's life being in a band for a very long time, refusing to give up just because we have problems. That's what we never did. Also, we also try to carry on and thinking about what can we do when there's rough times. We go through it, even though if the records are not that Halloweenish from what you would expect, but we just don't give up. We just give it a try. We just try to make things better. Sometimes it's taken a couple of records till you find back to your own very, very Halloween track or something. You know what I mean? You do things very different, but it was exactly what we could deliver at that very time. And we felt like this and we did this, and there was big changes, there was big discussions about the music, there was big discussions about Halloween, but we still not giving up. We gave it another try, and with Andy coming back in, saying, all right, I will join you guys, but only if we do some more Halloween. And he gave us a kick in the butt, saying, "Oh, I'm only joining when we do some Halloween." And that was the Masters of the Rings, which was the most fantastic idea after those two records.
Hmm. And maybe listening your words, maybe in any time, do you think that the best times of the band was gone? Not necessarily on the creative side, but in terms of popularity and acceptance by metal fans.
It was a weird feeling, and we got kind of we were floating around, not really knowing what to do. We needed some time to find back the way to what we are can do best. it was like a weird time, and we did tours like this. They weren't sold out or something, but we said, all right, we're never giving up. We try again. We try whatever is there. We try hard. Next time we even try harder. It was a challenge.
Mhm. And about the reunion, during years, it was a rumor, a desire during years before it happens. And maybe in that times that everybody, I remember going to Wacken, for example, and a lot of people saying in the backstage or the audience saying maybe next year we can see here Halloween a reunion. Is something that disturbed in any way the band during that years that it just rumors and people talking and all this kind of stuff?
No, that's always been there. And I think, Andy was a very, very cool guy dealing with it because he had to sing all those Michael Kiske songs
Yeah.
with having loads of people saying, Kiske sang that much better and all that. He had to live with it, saying, all right, I know Michael is a very, very good singer. Maybe he sings his songs much, much better than I do, but it's still Halloween songs. And if we go out there, if I go out with Halloween, I sing all the popular Halloween songs, of course. And there's no way to around it. And he had the guts to tell the people, all right, he may sing his songs better, but going out with Halloween means that I have to sing them now, and that's what I call this guy has the guts to do it.
Mhm.
I found it always very, very brave of him, and so yeah, everybody was talking about it, and it was always kind of there, but we did our thing also without those two guys being strong, being popular, and just having the idea of getting everything together was just the greatest idea. But it needed time. In the past, there was loads of harm and loads of bad situations, loads of bad words, and it needed time to go over it. It needed some talking, and there were scars left all over. And we just needed time to calm down. We needed time to calm it all down, you know what I'm talking? And it needed a lot of preparation. It needed a lot of healing. You just don't do it from one to the other day. And as we felt the time was right, we just gave it a try because we thought uh, not even trying would be stupid. We felt there's a talk in, there's a good word, and we thought, all right, this might be the time to try.
Mhm.
And the time was definitely right, we felt.
Mhm. And I think today nobody can deny or say anything about the importance of Andy in Halloween right now, in the compositions and in the personality in the band.
Yeah, because he also totally agreed when we had the idea of bringing in a second singer. He said, all right, he's a fucking great singer. Why not sharing the vocals? Not every vocalist would like to have another singer, another vocalist standing right next to him, singing half of the show, singing half of the record, and that what makes him a very cool guy. The understanding between the two singers is great. If you see their performances on stage, it's like real relationship going on. They're sitting down, they're philosophizing together. They're sharing a couple of shrimps, a bottle of wine, some cheesecake, a cup of coffee, talking. It's great. It's the real stuff you see, and that makes a lot. That helps a lot.
You mentioned a little bit previously, but could you tell me the history when if I think I'm correct, but when the record company fired the band before the release of Master of the Rings because there is no Kiske, and finally that album Master of the Rings was a success.
Was that two different record companies? I don't know. I can't remember really. I was too busy with doing my music.
I read something about that your label in that time, who released Chameleon and Pink Bubbles,
All right.
finally decided to fire the band of the label
Well,
because,
well,
hey, you don't have Michael Kiske on the vocals. You are not the same band. We are not interested. And finally, you release an album that it's excellent album and a success.
So that teaches record companies at least to support their bands, to support their acts, right? There can, I mean, there was loads of record companies refusing to sign the Beatles, you know.
Yeah. Wow. With the perspective of the time and what the Beatles is in the music world, wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Well, returning, and you don't remember this history, or you can explain something about this, maybe.
Sorry?
Now you don't remember this history or what happened exactly with the record label.
I can't really remember. It's so long ago, and I was never really. I can't even remember that it was two different record companies. What was the record company for Masters of the Rings and the last Chameleon album?
I
It was
must,
two different.
if I remember correctly, Pink Bubbles was with Amy.
All right, there was a last record on EMI, right?
Chameleon, I think the last one with Amy, and Master of the Rings is the first one with, I don't remember the name exactly of the company.
Uh,
I can remember.
all right, was it? Yeah, yeah,
Castle, yeah, yeah.
Castle Records something, right? Yeah, yeah. Now I remember. I kind of remember, because well, we've not been fired really, but then we kind of ended. The contract was ending, and they decided, all right, let's sit down together and talk. And we thought, all right. I mean, if you're not feeling well with having us, or if you're not satisfied with the last two records, which wasn't as Halloweenish as you probably expected, then we can understand if you don't want to work with us together anymore. It was more an agreement of the deal was done, and we were looking for something different at that time, you know. And then they probably thought, well, you know,
And
now they are back.
yeah, and I have to
But
say,
things happen, you know. You cannot really look into the future. I mean, we did a couple of mistakes in the past, you know. I mean, it's not all done by bad business. I mean, everybody's doing mistakes, being young, being pushed into going out doing rock and roll, and then being pushed into business where you don't have a clue what's going on, you know. Of course you do mistakes, but so what? It's all done.
you are talking about mistakes, and it's very interesting because a lot of people think that Chameleon, for example, was a mistake, and I think
Mm,
it's not a mistake. Maybe a risky album, of course, with different ideas, but not a bad album at the end.
yeah, well, it was like the band was not really, really together the way it was when we did the Two Keepers. That you can hear what you can hear on the Two Keepers was like a totally different thing, a totally different band, a totally different workflow together, and suddenly it changed a lot in the band, and that was like the best that we could get out of Halloween at this time. The band was had different opinions about the way they should go, and all different opinions about the music, but this was at least a compromise we did for that two albums, maybe. I don't know. But in the end of the day, you know, having all these albums out, looking back to it from now, from what we know now, it's kind of cool to have those two different albums in in your back catalog, you know. And as a band, it's interesting to have that different kind of music in there. And at least you cannot say that Halloween is repeating themselves, you know, all the time.
And maybe it could be interesting to play something of these albums in next tours, or maybe tracks from the Keepers that are not played yet, like, I don't know, Twilight of the Gods, for example.
Yeah, we're talking about doing some different stuff like this because there's many options. We have a real big discussion about it. But I hope there's not only one tour, there's more tours coming up where we can set a couple of songs here and there on the list, and then, well, yeah, it's just too many songs we got to play. But hopefully there's more than the next tour coming up for us, and then changing the set list all the time might be a very good idea, of course.
Hmm. Returning to the new album, two of the songs that you composed, Mass Pollution and Indestructible, with Andy, and they are two of the most hardest songs.
I didn't. That must be a mistake. I didn't really do Mass Pollution. That was Andy and
Oh,
somebody, but I did the Indestructible one.
okay, Indestructible.
Yeah.
I think I read this on the promo
Oh, all right,
info. Maybe that
all
you
right.
you composed together with Andy this one also. Sorry if
Oh,
if,
all
I,
right.
if I'm in mistake. Uh,
Yeah, it
but
doesn't
but
matter.
but the Indestructible, for example, it doesn't matter because it's more hardest, even priest oriented. If I know what I mean, it's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
you wanted for these songs that to sound harder.
I mean, Indestructible is just like nobody's there to kill you, nobody's there to stop you. It needs to have a very, very how can I say, optimistic, going forward kind of heavy thing, because we've I felt like we're indestructible after the leaving from Michael and Kai. We needed to carry on. We wanted to carry on, and we went through shit, and we went through success again. We had ups and downs, but still feeling like indestructible. Having all those old two members back in now, even more, and that therefore I needed all this atmosphere, this. Yeah, and I like Judas Priest. It's a kind of priest orientated kind of. It's not Stone, but it has kind of the same attitude, of course, because we've all been influenced by Judas Priest and bands like this.
Hmm. And I
So
think.
it's also a hello to them,
Uh,
because
uh,
they are indestructible in a way.
yeah, yeah. And I think in the next years, the band you will be indestructible because with this album, the reviews that I am reading and listening to the album, I think you will be better than ever in the next tours we can see.
I hope so that this is going on forever. We all just love it the way it is right now, and hopefully, you never know what happened, but hopefully it stays. It's going to be like this forever.
Uh,
And yeah, we love the touring, we love the working, we love hanging out together. It's nice. It's just another world now. Having two more persons in extending the Halloween family.
mhm. And what about you as a musician? About, for example, Bass Invaders. Any plans for the future? Are you in contact with Marcel, Tom, or PB?
Well, not at the moment. I mean, I always like the festival season where you see each other because they're touring, we're touring. Most of the time, we don't see each other really. But I like the guys a lot and hope to see them on the next festival season, because that's where you hook up together, meeting at the bar, having a nice, cool one beer, and talking, having fun. But I don't think there will be a cooperation in the next 2 years or something because we're very busy with Halloween, and that takes eats up all my time.
It was an interesting project, Bass Invaders, because as I said, I consider the bass in the metal scene an underrated instrument, and it was very interesting listening this interaction with three bass players.
Yeah, it's been an experiment I was trying to do. I was dreaming of when when I heard Lemmy playing bass on a festival. I was standing on Lemmy's side on the stage aside, watching him playing, thinking, "Wow, with this sound, you don't even need a guitar."
Of
And
course.
that kind of inspired me for that Bass Invaders idea. And I was writing to his management to, as you probably know, I have a lot of guest musicians, and I was writing to his management to get Lemmy for like a little appearance on the album, but this guy wouldn't really answer. It's too bad. But he was actually the inspiration for this.
Mhm. And you played in Avantasia, Uriah Heep, and others, another musicians. I guess it's something that you enjoy, these collaborations.
Yeah, I mean it's great to play with different people from time to time to do something different. As long as you know you go back home to Halloween, you know. Avantasia was a very fun thing. Very great tracks. This guy is very talented. He's writing great songs, great voice, and he creates a good atmosphere, very cool atmosphere live. I like it a lot. I mean, why not? It's fun. I'm a bass player, and if something inspiring is coming up, I will be there.
Are you open to do this more collaborations in the future?
If anybody's asking me, why not? You know, but at least nobody's asking. Apart from that, they have like a soul, Soul Spell, that metal opera from South America.
Yeah.
This is where I do a couple of tracks from time to time as well.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And finally, I mentioned a couple of times that my opinion about the bass sound in the metal productions today. Are you agree with this appreciation? Maybe because the producers, or I don't know what's happening with this, but I think bass could be more present and more relevant.
Yeah, I don't know, but how can I say? It's a very guitar orientated business, right? And if you have two or even three guitars crying directly into your face, and the double bass drum is kicking your butt from deep down low, you need to find the space for it. You know, I mean, it's the production wise, it's probably not always easy to get the bass up front because you need the space for guitars. Very often, it's very fast uh, tracks you got to play, and you got to find the frequency for it. It might also be a production problem or a decision of if you take the bass up front, if there's enough space for the guitars and stuff like this. It's always it's always a matter of finding a way of compromising it, you know. I don't know. It's not easy to get. It's not just pushing a button up and then the bass is more hearable, but it might be that the guitar riff is certainly not really hearable. But in the metal, the guitar riff has almost the same function than the chorus line sometimes, you know, and it needs to be there too. So you got to find a way to compromise it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this genre. And I
Yeah.
can quite understand why it's not very easy to mix it all up front, you know?
I was thinking that be careful because you have three guitars, two singers. Maybe
Yeah.
next step is another bass player.
No. I wouldn't allow it. I wouldn't allow it. No way.
Okay, Marcus, thanks for your time.
All right.
Okay, Marcus, thanks for your time. I hope to see you very soon playing, in my case, in Barcelona, or
All right.
even in some festival season. What this nightmare of
Yeah.
the COVID.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's over soon. It's getting better in Germany. Yeah, we see. We see.
We'll
We
see.
got to be careful a little more for a little more time, and then hopefully it's getting back to normal.
Yeah, we hope. We hope.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, my friend, and hope to see
All
you
right.
playing
My
here very
pleasure.
soon.
Have a good day.